and then we'll go to you, sir.
The definition of the separation of church and state is ever changing to the separation of God and state. And the freedom of religion is turning into the freedom from religion. This country was founded on faith in God, and now God's name is being removed from national monuments and local government buildings. I feel like I'm only free to share my religious views as long as they are politically correct and they do not offend anyone. So my question to you, sir, what or who is the supreme authority in your life, and how will it be evident in your presidency?
I think in the experience that I had long ago and far away, that the major reason why I'm here today probably is because of my faith. And I believe that I'm here because I was granted not only one more day, which I would ask for, or one more hour, but sometimes one more minute. And that happens to be the product of an experience that I shared with many other brave Americans. Maybe I could just tell you one brief story. When we were in prison in North Viet Nam, the North Vietnamese wanted to use us as tools of propaganda. In other words, the information that the average pilot has when he's captured here then gets old very quickly. But what they wanted to do was win the war by swaying public opinion, particularly in the United States, but in the world. And so they would want to get war crimes, confessions, statements against our country, denouncing our country and the war. And sometimes they would use very rough tactics in order to achieve that. One of them was to take ropes and tie them around your arm, around your biceps, pull your arms tightly behind you, and then loop the rope around your head and pull your head down between your knees. That was, and leave you there for extended period of time. As you can imagine, it's a very unpleasant experience. One night I was in that situation in an interrogation room, and a guy walked in who was what we called a gun guard, a guy that just walks around for security in the guard with a rifle, in the camp with a rifle on his shoulder. And he put his finger to his lips and reached down and loosened the ropes that were holding me. A few hours later he came back, tightened those ropes up again. It was obviously the end of his watch. That was in October, as I recall, the Christmas Day, because it was Christmas. The North Vietnamese allowed us to come outside of our cells for a few minutes at separate times, because in those days I was in solitary confinement. And so I was taken out. I was standing in this courtyard outside of my cell. The same guy, the gun guard, came walking over, and he stood next to me for a minute, and he drew a cross on the ground. And he stood there for a minute, and then he erased it with his sandal. That's the one person I've always wanted to see again. Yes, sir.